So welcome everyone. I'm Darcy Purcell, and I am thrilled to have Dr. Kim Trager here with us today in the second of our series on releasing stagnant energy. And so the last class we were seated. If you haven't watched that class, it is on our YouTube channel. So please do feel free to check that out. And today Kim is moving us to a standing, more of a standing class, which will be great. And before we dive in, I really would love, Dr. Kim, for you to share a little bit about how you see this manifest on the table every day in your practice in terms of stagnant energy and how that manifests in the physical body.
That's a great question. Structurally in the body, people will come in saying that they are having trouble breathing, or their joints are tight, their muscles are in spasm. Maybe they feel contracted in the body. And after a while, it expands to them explaining that they might be feeling brain fog as well. Their thoughts feel fuzzy or stuck. And emotionally, they just feel stagnant. Maybe they're feeling overwhelmed or frustrated or irritable for no reason. And I explain that we are a tapestry of body, mind, and emotions. And you can't just pull one out, that they're so interconnected that we address all of them. And that's where the benefit comes. So I do see this with my patients all the time. And it's what I'm sharing today are some of the techniques and the movements, the breath work, the acupressure that I teach my patients and clients to help them move forward in life.
I'm going to say one other thing before we get started. I am personally a longtime patient of Dr. Trager's from back 20 some odd years. Kim, you are out of focus again. So Candace, if you want to work on that, well, there we go. Okay. And I know that you were sharing that people come in when they're feeling stuck. I would say that I don't even know I'm feeling stuck. Like, I don't know what I don't know. So when I'm coming in and you're sharing things about my body and what they relate to in terms of emotions, that's really, really helpful. So that's part of why I love Dr. Kim, and I'm excited to do this class today. So I will be quiet now and turn it over, and let's do this thing, Kim.
Thank you, Darcy. And that is true. Often life just happens slowly. Rarely is it one event and we notice the change. Often it's, a stressor here, a stressor there, and we start to carry the burdens of life on our shoulders, in our gut, inside our head, wherever you happen to carry them. So we're going to address a lot of those. Now I'm sitting now. However, I'm going to go ahead and stand because this is primarily a standing practice today. Our first one, we were sitting, and this will build upon that. However, though I am standing, feel free to hold on to a chair or the wall. That's never considered cheating, or all of these things can be modified to a chair. So that's perfectly fine. And if you hear any noises, I have a new neighbor with a big dog, so that's what's going on. So let's begin. As I like to combine ancient wisdom, primarily from the yoga, Ayurvedic tradition, and Chinese medicine, and what we know now in medicine and research, we find this wonderful synergy that really can help us body, mind, and emotions. And when we talk about stagnant energy, often we're talking about, as I mentioned, this contracted, burdened sensation physically, and that often comes with the realization, or perhaps not even realizing, that you're not even breathing. And when we think about it, that can be a big part of moving stagnant energy out and making a container, a space for inspiration, for nourishment, for self-care. So, of course, I'm combining several things. I'm kind of talking about the lungs and the diaphragm. However, I'm also really going to focus on the liver and the gallbladder meridians today. So just as a review, or if some of you know this, or new information if you do not, liver and gallbladder, when we talk about them in Chinese medicine, it's more about the emotions, less about the organs themselves. And if you happen to have had your gallbladder removed, you still have a gallbladder meridian. So don't ignore the comments about that. We'll be addressing the feet later, because the liver meridian begins at the big toe and moves up. And then the gallbladder meridian begins at the head and ends at the fourth toe. So by massaging and activating the feet, and I'll lead you through that, we actually help anchor the liver and gallbladder meridians, or the energy, the chi there. So while we're doing this, I simply encourage you to kind of go back and forth, move your weight back and forth. So there's more on the right, more on the left. Allow the knees to be slightly flexed. You could even do some circles with the hips, feeling your weight distribute differently in the feet. I like to occasionally lift my toes up, feeling my arches activate. So that's just a simple, easy way to kind of ground and feel connected to the earth, which can be so satisfying, just really knowing that you've got that foundation. Now, I'm going to have you put hands on your lungs, one on your upper chest, and the other hand gently on your lower ribs above the belly button. And just be aware of where you're breathing. We're keeping the knees relaxed, the shoulders relaxed. Now, I've been talking, so I feel it rather equally between my upper lungs and my lower lungs. However, when we go to an area of recharging and getting ourselves into parasympathetic, which is the rest, digest, and heal mode, we want to use the diaphragm. And the terms we want to think about are a deeper, lower diaphragmatic breath that is light and slow. So see if you can bring the breath lower, keeping it light. There's always enough air. And in fact, I'm going to use the towel here, and I encourage you to pick up the towel. We're going to use the towel now as our first prop in bringing awareness. So simply bring the towel around to your lower ribs. And it doesn't matter if the elbows are out or back. I'm simply holding on. So it's like half of a belt here. Now, as I am doing that light, slow, diaphragmatic breathing, you might be able to see that I'm breathing into the towel. Now, I'm holding it fairly securely. So that brings my rib awareness to that, which is so powerful because gallbladder meridian is on the side ribs. So when we can breathe into the sides and back, not just using our muscles for the belly breath, it brings a whole new area of expansion. Remember, we're inspiring, we're detoxifying what we no longer need. So I'm going to introduce a new breath technique for some of you called Oojai Breath. And I'm introducing it early on so that if you choose, you can use it for some of the other practices. Oojai Breath means victorious breathing, but it's also called ocean breathing because it sounds a little bit like the ocean, or some people will call it Darth Vader breathing. So it's how it's done is a practice you would breathe in, and then you're going to breathe out through the mouth like you're going to fog up a mirror. So it will have a little bit of a sound. Breathing in and out. However, with the Ujjayi breath, we'll keep the lips closed. So we really just have the sound and a slight gentle contraction. So we're breathing in and out. Sounds like the ocean, right? Now, what's so special about Ujjayi or ocean breathing is that it's activating the vagus nerve, putting us into calm reset. It also helps us control the breath. So in yoga, if we do even inhalation and exhalation, then that's very calming. If we slow down the exhaling, which we can do easily with Ujjayi, it puts us into deep, deep calm. So you get to choose, but for right now, we're going to keep them the same. And let's add a movement. So on the inhalation, we will bring the arms up and around, palms together. And on the exhalation, sounding like the ocean, we will bring the hands down to the heart. And we'll do that 3 times together. Inhale, quietly, hands together, and Ujjayi. Inhale, heart is open, and exhale. And one more time. Inhale, and ocean breathing. Nice. I love that. Now, to really open up the side ribs, again, I'm going to have you pick up the towel. And this time we will simply inhale, bringing the towel up, and exhale, bringing the arms down. Now, the purpose of this is we're pulling the arms out like we're going to tear the towel, and it's going to activate our arm lines. So inhaling, bending the knees slightly, and exhaling. Standing and lowering the arms, feeling the shoulders. Inhale, and exhale. Those of you who like yoga will notice this as an easy, gentle chair pose. Inhale, and exhale. And try it now without the towel, now that we know what it feels like to activate the arms. Inhale, exhale. Reaching up, wiggling the fingers. And as we stand up, lowering the arms, feeling the heart open. And one more time. Inhale, gazing at the floor or just ahead. And exhale. I'm already warming up, feeling that stagnant energy leave with the breath and the movement. So I'm feeling that I want to open this area even more. And for that, let's use the tennis ball. One of the stretches or exercises I teach all of my patients is to keep the pecs open. So using the tennis ball and the palms, because we use our fingers for far too many things, use the pressure of your palm to relax. Now, if you don't have a tennis ball or you're at your desk, you've been too long at the computer, feel free to use your fist. You can use your knuckles. They work really well. But you can see I'm getting the area right under the collarbone where those strong pec muscles attach. I'm coming right in along the sternum. Guys, it's easier for women. We do a rainbow over the breast tissue. Now I'm going to do the other side because we use both arms. You notice I'm keeping the side that I'm working on totally relaxed. And it doesn't take long. What I'm doing is I'm increasing lymphatic flow. I'm increasing circulation, and I'm really waking up the muscles and giving a new message. I'm allowing this area, giving it permission to stretch back, opening up the heart, allowing me to take a deeper breath. However, most of our activities are with senses forward and shoulders rounded. So the muscles in the back get far too overstretched. So I'm going to take the ball to the wall. Now, I think you can see there, I'm leaning up against the wall. I'm going to walk out, in case you can't see my feet, which is fine. I'm walking my feet out about a foot, maybe a foot and a half away, and I'm taking up a little more space. So my feet are a little more than hip width. We call this an air chair. At the gym, they may go deeper, but this is not a quad stretch. We just want the weight against the wall. Now, I'm going to use this tennis ball to massage these muscles. So I'm still leaning against the wall. My knees are slightly bent. I'm going to take the ball, and with either arm, I'm going to reach it to this area between my spine and my shoulder blade, maybe a little lower than the shoulder blade. Okay, so I'm holding it there so it doesn't fall. I'm going to push my weight into it as I pull my hips away. Now, if this is too much pressure, keep the hips there. But if you're able to pull the hips away a little bit, that's great. And then use the slight bend and straightening of the knees to massage that muscle. It feels great. I am giving that muscle a little bit of a spa time. Now I'm simply going to move it to the other side of the spine. Because of course, whether you're right-handed or left-handed, you use both arms and both of the shoulders round forward when we're driving or at the computer. You notice I can even do a little side-to-side action. Okay, now I'm going to move it up a little higher, and you get the idea. You can take this technique that I teach my patients and do this for the entire spine, even the low back, even the glutes. But for today, we're really working on the area around the rib cage. Nice, because when we open up the front and the back of the rib cage, we are able to expand and have a deeper breath. We're able to move our arms more, and we're able to have better flow. And as a result, move that stagnant energy out. Now that I've relaxed the front and activated the back, I'm going to lead you in, and I call it the flower or the book, where we have the arms out like this. Inhale, heart is open, look up just a bit. Exhale, I'm going to round, tuck my chin, bring my forearms together. And while I'm here, I can do another inhalation and exhalation while I just round, take my shoulders right and left. So I'm doing a little side bending. And I'm going to slowly inhale as I come back up, open to the sun and new ideas, fresh energy. One more time. Exhale, come in and really activate the spinal cord, those spinal nerves. Let the head hang a little bit and gently come back up. All right, that's awesome. So at this point, I want to show, get the towel again. I'm going to show you a neck stretch with the towel. We've addressed this area. However, like many of you, I hold a lot of stagnant energy right in my neck and throat, and maybe even in my head. So using the towel as a support, I can bring it around gently to the back of my neck. Now, this takes a little bit of practice, but once you have it, it's great. And you can do this lying down. So if you choose, go back into your air chair against the wall. Now, all I'm going to do is use the towel to turn my head. Now, yes, I'm using my muscles a little bit, but it's primarily the towel. It's just guiding my head back and forth, which means that this is almost a passive movement. And now as I come away, I can try it. It's also giving the back of my neck a bit of a massage. Because if we look at the acupressure points and we look closely at gallbladder meridian, I'm going to step forward here a little bit. There we go. We look closely at gallbladder meridian. Gallbladder meridian is all about what we think. It begins at the sides of the eyes. So our gallbladder meridian, which when it's out of balance, can lead to irritability, frustration, discouragement, depression, anger, resentment. It's about what we see, what we're watching, what we're reading, social media, any of those. So it can be affected by that, but also by what we hear. Here's gallbladder 2. Then it goes right into the sides of the head. It's up and down and back and forth. It's emotional on the forehead. It goes back and forth. And as research tells us, the mind grabs on hard to negative emotions. It's less likely to hold on to and keep safe those positive ones. So if you are one of those individuals who finds yourself holding on to negative emotions, this activity of massaging the gallbladder meridian here in any direction, back and forth, up and down, get that scalp relaxed and get the energy flowing, you are going to find this amazing. Then the gallbladder meridian gets anchored right here behind the ears, right there. So then to finish it, don't just leave it there. Going back to recycle again, take it and anchor it. I like to use 2 fingers here. I just massage right at the base of the head, gallbladder meridian. It's like it's off the shoulders. It then goes down the sides of the legs, all the way down to the 4th toe. So that means that side bending through the day, like we just did with the towel. In yoga, we make a point of doing forward, backward, rotating, which is great for the liver. We'll just move into that now. And the side bending. We're addressing liver and gallbladder. So if we move on to more powerful acupressure points, it leads us right into what we would call a power pose. Why? Because the meridians here, the gallbladder meridian is also here at the hips. So when we take a wide stance, we take our fists, and I like to activate those side hip muscles, wake up the gallbladder meridian here. So I cleared the energy, cleared the cobwebs and the negativity out of my head. And I activated and opened up the lungs by working gallbladder meridian on the sides. I'm coming here for a strong stance. This is where gallbladder meridian combines with solar plexus chakra in a positive pose for confidence and courage and calm. And these are the positive aspects of liver and gallbladder. There have been studies that holding this power pose for 2 minutes, preferably in front of the mirror, smiling and saying or thinking positive affirmations, actually changes the hormones in the body. And all I know is that whenever I take the time to do it, and I'm looking in the mirror and my heart is open and I've activated my hips, I am calm, I am resilient, I am courageous. I can do whatever it is I'm about to do. I definitely feel that. So hopefully you picked up on some of that and even felt the chi being activated and the stagnant energy leaving your system. Now, we've said more about gallbladder meridian than we have liver because it's such an extensive meridian. However, as we move down to the feet, and I'm just going to finish with the feet, we have a couple of very powerful meridians. How's this? Is this good? Okay. One is, as you're sitting, or if you're very agile, standing, in between, at the big toe, is Liver Meridian 1. And it slides up top of the foot between the first and second metatarsal. So I can support the bottom of my foot and slide my fingers in there. I can hold my foot, mobilize my big toe in different directions, love up my foot. And as I said, Gallbladder Meridian goes down to the fourth toe. Sometimes it's just nice to twist the foot, take a fist, massage the arch, just mobilizing the feet. I like to do it at the end of the day, but it's great at the beginning, is a great way to activate the feet. So in review, what we covered today.
Hey, Dr. Kim, can we just take a second and do the other foot and then do
Oh,
a review?
absolutely. Oh, yes, of course.
Thank you.
Yes, I was looking at the time. So yes, please.
And I was feeling my feelings. So yes, please walk me through the other foot.
Absolutely. So when Liver Meridian, it's at the inside of the big toe. So I find this interesting that the big toe on one side is Liver Meridian, helping us detox, going right up the leg. But on the other side of the big toe and the arch is Spleen Meridian, which is all about don't worry and take care of yourself. So I like to hold my big toe and hold on both sides there and move the big toe around. And this is a very important point. This liver 2 and 3, it's a major detox point. So it's not just about detoxing after you got sick or ate something, drank something that needed to be detoxed. It's also about detoxing emotions and moving into that calm resilience. And then of course, fourth toe, gallbladder. But we can get them all and half of our meridians when we mobilize the foot back and forth, when we hold onto the foot and with the other hand hold onto the toes and circle the toes around. I like to take my thumbs or a fist and activate the bottom of the foot. And any of you, if you've been following all the new information about fascia and myofascial lines, most of the myofascial lines begin at the feet. So our feet are so important. If you take time to only work on one part of your body in the evening, do your feet. Well, head and neck are important too, but definitely the feet are so powerful. And so in review today, I wanted it to be primarily a standing, more active pose that was good, that would be good for everyone. And focusing on the liver and gallbladder meridians, because if we're talking stagnant energy, we have to address liver and gallbladder. They are all about holding onto the negative and not allowing us to feel like we can move forward. The breath is a key part of that. And it's all about the diaphragm. Remember, we can use the towel to bring the focus, activating the side arms and body with side movement, rotation, but also just bringing awareness to the breath, to the movement, and to the acupressure points. Adds a synergy that as you do it over time is incredible. And as simple as Oojai Breath is, the ocean breath, it is one that you can do anywhere. So it is, I think that as we move forward with these classes and we address different breath work, different meridians, and different acupressure points, you're going to develop quite a toolbox of wonderful techniques to help you move through stagnant energy. And you will find yourself doing these in the car and breaks from the computer and with your companions, so and your coworkers. So I'm hoping that this was a great experience for you.
Thank you, Dr. Kim. All right, so if you have questions, folks, please put them in the chat so that we can get to them. As people are doing that, a couple things I wanted to ask you about, Dr. Kim. The first I wrote down here, can you talk a little bit to when you're doing these different positions, it's not surprising if you have some sort of release, emotional, like you could want to make a sound or feel an emotion. And I know you've coached me on these things. How can you talk to that subtle piece that I know sometimes I can quickly, I'm feeling something, I'm on the wall, I'm feeling, or I'm opening my heart and I want to let out a sigh or I want a tear to fall. And I'm like, somewhere in me, I go, nope. And then I keep pushing through. Can you talk to letting that out?
I'm so glad that you brought that up, Darcy. And that is where the healing can really happen. As we mentioned before, it's all connected. And when we work with the breath and movements and acupressure, it's normal that any past trauma or stuck emotions, well, they're ready to be released. And so to be open to that, to not be so hard on yourself, to not have judgment and to just let it out. That's, like I said, that's where the healing happens. Absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, I just wanted to, that's an important piece of this is that letting go of that and feeling it. The other thing I wanted to mention before we get to questions is I know I discussed this with Lorna on another class as you were working on opening the front, but then you went to the sides and you went to the back. In certain cultures and customs, that piece is our future. This is present. This is our, I like to say, our muggleness, right? Like this is now, we're just driving along and we're reacting to life and separateness. But as we open to the sides, as you were having us strengthen that back, open our sides, it reminded me of that is the future, that is being present, is really opening those pieces. Can you talk to that?
Well, there are a lot of different ways to look at it. One way that I often will share with patients is that when we're formed in the womb, we're formed in what we call a fetal position. So we're protecting ourselves. And it's not easy, babies still want to keep that form. For us to open, for us to expand, it's not always an easy thing. And yet that's when we grow, that's when we, become more authentic. So whether it's moving into our future or moving into our best self or our most, expansive self, I guess that's more the way I think of it as we don't want to look at just one facet and think of expanding and growing in that direction. We want to be expansive in all senses. Does that explain it?
I really love that explanation. I just love the intention of what just happened. And my intention was to release. So as I was doing the movements, I think that's always important as well. So thank you. We do
one more I'd like to add to that is we're all familiar with what we call a startle reflex or a Moro reflex, a loud noise, especially with a baby, and they do this. And then, but they don't often say, after they do this, they contract. And so I think part of getting to that point where we are feeling that calm, courageous resilience is that something happens. We might still do this, but then it's like, okay, I'm here. It's good. I don't need to do that, curl back up and protect myself because I'm safe. I think part of the message of liver and gallbladder is that feeling safe.
Mm. Oh, I love that. All right, we have a couple questions here, and I'm not sure. I'm just going to read this, and hopefully I'm saying it right. How about transient hypofrontality to relieve stress via breathing?
What was the
Frontality.
rest?
Frontality.
Frontality. I'm not familiar with that.
All
So
right, we're going to have to, Mohammed, we're going to have to look at
yeah, I mean,
unless
hypo
you want to
is
share a little
less
more.
than, is less than. So I'm a big fan of Buteyko breathing and Patrick McEwen's work on diaphragmatic breathing for healing as well as for maximizing, exercise. But not and Wim Hof breathing, but I'm not familiar with that.
And
so, love learning.
Mohammed, I hate to well, I don't hate to tell you this, but what Dr. Kim is an avid learner, so she is literally going to go down a rabbit hole on this one now.
I'm
So
definitely going
maybe
to
on the next one, she might be doing a whole class on this. So the next question Stephanie has here is, what about the mouth connection to feet and arches? And we know that you are a mouth myofascial expert here. So let's talk a little bit about that.
I'll bring it up. Thank you. Okay. Love the question. Here you go. So yes, I'm going to talk just a little bit about myofascial lines. It's connective tissue and muscle that allow us to move and have integrity in our bodies. As I mentioned before, all of the vertical lines start at the feet and end at the head. And there's one in the front, one in the back, and then on the sides, bracketing right and left. Great. However, as Stephanie alluded to, probably the most important myofascial line is called the deep front line. And yes, when I had you lifting your toes and activating your arches, that's where it begins. When I had you slightly bending the knees and standing strong, you're going to feel it in your inner thighs. Then it's the pelvic floor, the back, the diaphragm. It then continues under the sternum and is actually part of the covering of the heart. It's the front neck muscles and ends with the tongue. So that line of strength and movement is only aligned when the tongue is pressed against the roof of the mouth, which is why in specializing in feet and foot posture and gait, that's equally as important as what we do with our jaw and with our mouth and the muscles of our face. So absolutely. If in an extended class, I would have done a breath work where we activate the toes and the diaphragm, and we're pressing the tongue up to the roof of the mouth. And I encourage you to do that. It's fun.
Great. And then, Stephanie, I know you also had a question about emailing the office about mouth and foot issues, but you didn't get a response. Can you let us know if you're speaking about the Imminence Health Clinic? In any case, we can email you after this and make sure that you get in touch with Dr. Kim to get support. Cindy had a question. Will we be able to keep this and watch it again? Yes. We will be sending out the replay to the MetaFit community. Uzma has a question here. How can I help encourage my special needs daughter to deep breathe from her lower lung lobes to get involved in for her lower lung lobes to get involved in breathing? Her posture is very rounded.
Well, it's going to take more than a single approach. And something like that, I would recommend that we work together. I do it with a Zoom call. That's how I work with many of my patients and clients is we do it, excuse me, over Zoom. And so drkimtrager.com. Like I said, I always keep a few openings, and there are, yeah, that's a tricky one for sure. That's a tricky one, and it's multifaceted.
I was going to
But
say
you're
it's,
on the
it's
right
more
track.
specific. It's more specific to the individual. You have to
To the individual.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Dr. Kim loves tricky.
Right. And also to make it into games and to do props, like maybe, stuffed animals and pillows, and to breathe into that. Because I've worked with a lot of kids, and it's just, if they think it's fun, they want to do it. We all want to do it if we think it's fun, right? It puts us in touch with our inner child.
Yeah, I think you do a lot of powerful work with kids. So Stephanie, I saw your note and it was imminent. So I'm just going to put you directly in touch with Dr. Kim after this, and then we'll make sure you're supported and taken care of there. If there are any more questions, please pop them into the chat. I have one last question for you, Dr. Kim. I know you are a fan of the power of essential oils. And so as you were doing gallbladder, I was thinking, oh, she'd probably put parasympathetic there maybe. Or what oils would you put where to support what we just, the class we just went through, liver gallbladder, and why?
Okay. Liver gallbladder in Chinese medicine make up the wood element. And I always find that people do well, and those meridians are beautifully enhanced with wood oil. So that could be anything from frankincense or sandalwood. Think of the brain, calming for the nervous system. But I love cedar, cypress, especially if we're working with the feet and the legs. For this point here, which is where the gallbladder anchors, is also where the vagus nerve comes out from behind the ear. And there's a powerful blend of 2 parts lime, 1 part clove, and then dilute that by at least half in fractionated coconut oil. And that is amazing. It's a blend that's been around for a long time.
And if you don't feel like mixing it yourself, we'll also share when we send this replay out, Vibrant Blue Oils, which is our favorite parasympathetic blend.
Yeah,
it's perfect.
It's nice. She already has it diluted, so it's great for that.
When you were mentioning the oils, where would you the wood oils? Would you put them on the bottom of your feet? How and you said brain? Do you put them on your fingers and put them? Walk me through exactly what you want me to do.
Right. Well, anytime you can always inhale the oils in the hand or from the bottle. You're getting the emotional aspect going right to the brain. That's great. They also have a powerful effect with their chemistry in the body, but we want them done safely. So I always say diluted by half. All oils can be put on the bottom of the foot, especially if it's an oil that you don't want to walk to work smelling like, but you still get the benefit. On the feet, I do it top and bottom, and I'll do it in the evening, like cypress and maybe frankincense diluted. When I'm doing it on my head or my neck, I might do it, say, 30 minutes before a shower or 30 minutes before, say, a yoga or meditation, just so I've got it in my bloodstream and it's really, doing whatever I want it to do, calming, just really making me feel expansive, open, and confident. So yes, I do love essential oils. Just make sure that they're, as pure as possible and diluted when applied topically. Good.
That's
good
great. With a fractionated coconut oil, am I saying that properly?
Yeah, I like that, but you could use almond oil or put it in a lotion, a neutral organic lotion. Sure.
Beautiful. Okay. Well, I think we are all set here. I'm honored, thrilled that you're able to share this information today, Dr. Kim.
Well, Thank you for having me on, Darcy. And I'm just going to put in a quick plug on 8/8, August 8th, coming up. I will, with a friend, I will be launching the Queen Bee Club podcast.
Very exciting.
I know it's going to be a community for conversation and connection and fun. And yeah, we're just going to have a great time.
And to learn more about that, what website should they go to?
They could go to drkimtrager.com.
Okay, terrific. And if anybody does want to speak with Dr. Kim, have questions, you can reach her via that website as well.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you all. This was so much fun. And let me know which tools work best for you and how you're using them.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye, everyone.